Ugh. You read the title of this video? Alright, good. Hell no! Are you out of your mind? This series is metal as hell, and it absolutely bangs. Jesus Christ. You know what? Your reward for thinking that it's overrated is the sound of the 2016-2017 gut sword clang sound. Oh. Oh, okay. And you know what? Even if you don't think it's overrated and you actually really enjoy this series, clearly you're a glutton for punishment and you enjoy suffering, much as myself apparently. So you also get the sword clang sounds as your reward. Alright, cut it off. Oh. Alright. Wait, what the? Alright, the dog can stay. This isn't JoJo's. They don't establish the villains by just harming or killing dogs. Instead, they establish the villains by just straight up being complete evil. My god, this is one of the most gruesome things I have ever read. And also had a plot to just back it up, so it didn't just feel like gore and nudity and just all these adult themes. Holy crap, I can't believe I slept on Berserk for so long. If you haven't read this manga yet, then just go do it. I mean, yes, I know the fear is joining the club that I've officially gotten into of the infrequent hiatuses and just like, it's basically like a 3-month gap between each chapter now. So, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing and like 3 years for a gap, but now I am becoming a patient boy. In the meantime, I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm just going to go read and watch a bunch of other stuff and hope the next chapter's out by the time I think about it next. Oh boy, that's true pain. Weekly anime watchers and manga readers per chapter, I feel your pain, but somehow it gets worse. My god. For those of you who have never been exposed to Berserk, I mean, even without reading it, I knew the basic premise just because it is officially the #1 rated manga of all time. Like, straight up, at least on my anime list, which is kind of where, I mean, I don't know where else to, like, go to rate it, but I'm pretty sure other sites will probably tell you the same thing. And I just, wow. It literally starts off hardcore, and this is just one of the most metal series I've read so far. It's so gritty and has so much stuff to it. But the art, oh my god. Okay, the plot is good. I'm not really even going to try to sell you on this. Just go read it. I mean, if you haven't and you're avoiding it on purpose, that's your own prerogative. But good lord, just the story is just so good that the characters, you genuinely want to hate characters because of their ideologies. And then they even make the villains kind of like either relatable or have a dream or a goal that's kind of like, well, shit, like, I can't completely hate them because they're actually kind of like right in a lot of points, but the way they go about it ain't quite right. And your main character obviously is just like, it's literally just a series about a guy that's too pissed off to die. I swear Berserk has to have had a ton of influence on a bunch of different pop culture, video games, books, novel series, movies, TV shows, because the sheer amount of things I've seen after reading this that made me think of something else is astronomical. I genuinely, like, I feel like Guts as a character with just the embodiment of rage and going berserk to just fucking destroy anything that gets in his way. It just reminds me of kind of like God of War Kratos or just Doomslayer from Doom. It's just like rip and tear and just kill gods until none are in your way. And it actually has like genuine heartfelt moments too, along with just the absolute ridiculous gore and just insane adult themes in this, that it's just like, damn, it's not just like fan service. It actually has like these messages of like, what do you fight for? Find something that's worth living for, or what's the point? If you can't stand on your own or find a reason to stand, then you might as well just die. It's so hardcore and in your face and blunt about everything that it's just like super easy to follow and grasp the overarching themes. But Jesus, I could not get enough of it. I could not put it down. It is so addictingly good. Even if the plot was total ass, which it isn't, as I've just previously stated, the art in this is bar none some of the best I've ever seen. It's no wonder it takes so long to make some of these panels and he takes so many breaks. I mean, I kind of want to let it slide just because of how freaking detailed some of these panels are. There is literal panels that you could hang that up in a museum. Like, that's not even like ironically saying that or like as a meme. Legitimately, some of this stuff is just like, it would take me months just to even fathom being able to make that. And he makes it one panel and then keeps doing it. And there are some like meh, like lighthearted panels that are like a lot less detailed, and they're still really good. It's insane how just panel after panel after panel after panel, it's just like this, just more detailed. It blows my mind that that's even possible. And then that's only like half of it. There's the storytelling, the characters, everything that's building off of it. You just get a plot that's just as thick as the actual artwork it's being portrayed by. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. You could take at least probably 90% of the panels in this series and just like frame it and put it up on a wall. It is that good. I'm kind of surprised, and at the same time not really, that this is actually rated as the #1 manga. Even over stuff like One Piece, which is like 3 times longer, and honestly, I thought One Piece was the most detailed thing I'd ever seen, and I still think it is densely detailed, but this definitely like competes with it to a whole new level of just like, damn. I think it's just because One Piece is longer and it's been doing more in a like shorter period of time that it's kind of like, I think I appreciate that, and it's just even more inhuman. But I mean, for something that's this like graphic and adult, you'd think it wouldn't reach as many people because it's a little more restricting and a lot more jarring with how just like brutal a lot of the themes are. So it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of it, and it's very uncomfortable and unsettling for a lot of the imagery in this story. So I would figure that something like One Piece that's a little more lighthearted still has some fucked up scenes in it, but something that's not like just gruesome or nudity for half of the series and just like isn't gonna be like easy to take in for a wider audience, it still is. I mean, maybe it has less people that have actually read it, but it just has just a denser agreement on it being just pretty much a masterpiece. I mean, this is basically like a 10 out of 10 without even questioning. A 9 maybe. I think objectively subjectively you could put this as whatever you want. It's not everyone's taste, but like just looking at it for the art and the actual storytelling, I think it's a 9 at least, like without even really thinking about it. There's just so much good about it. My one gripe I will say, I think that might put a lot of people off, is it definitely has like tonal shifts while still maintaining an overall world where it's super gritty, and then it has like the hellscape, like everything's super just messed up, and then it gets very normal for a while. Like it actually has like a flashback that's like 10 or 12 volumes, which, I mean, if you're not in for the long haul, that's probably going to be off-putting, but it's so good. Like even just when it goes to this normal flashback, which is like, you kind of start thinking like, well, damn, I want to go back to that. But then after a volume or two, you're like, all right, I'm in. Like, I'm super interested. And then after that arc ends, it goes back to like the super like hellish demon side of things. And it's just like, oh my God, that was pivotal to setting up me actually giving a shit about the stuff going on here. And it's incredible that that's even possible, that you could take such a huge shift and make it just adhesive and meld together in such a way that you're like, yeah, hell yeah, that works. And then it kind of goes down the fucked up line, and then it gets very whimsical and high fantasy, which, I mean, I'm all down for, but I think that could probably turn a lot of people off. But it adds so many cast members where you think it's just like this one type of story, and then it keeps growing and developing. The character development in this is incredible. And I'm surprised, while everything's super messed up, that there's actually a lot of like lighthearted like banter and kind of fan servicey like joking around sections where it's kind of like the first couple times it happened, I was like, it's kind of a miss for me. I'm not a huge fan of this. And as it kept going on, it was kind of like, oh, this is a reprieve before the next fucked up thing happens. And I really kind of appreciated that in the long run. And the most recent chapter is one of those, so it kind of sinks when I want to see what the progression is. But patience of iron will and steel, because we gotta wait to see what the next chapters are. That's kind of, I think anybody that's been with this series for a while now knows that's the case. So you just gotta grit your teeth and bear it, because there's not much we can do other than just hope Miura doesn't pass away before this series ends, or we're at least in a spot which, funny enough, I think where it's at right now, while there's a lot of stuff that still needs to be answered, it's kind of in an area where it's like, well, I mean, if he doesn't make it, you could kind of squeeze in a way to be like, this is an ending. Like, it's in a good spot right now where I think it's building up into what the next arc is gonna be. So I'm definitely curious where it goes. We're in that like transient zone where it's intermission almost. So definitely curious, but it's even more painful because it means the chapters we're gonna be getting right now are not quite as important until it gets to that. So it's give and take, but I'm a patient boy. I also really like how Guts is kind of like morally ambiguous, where it's kind of just like he doesn't really go after being the bad guy, but he also doesn't really care if you think you're the good guy. Everybody is kind of just like straight down the middle in this gray area, and it's basically, if you attack me, I'm gonna cut you down, but otherwise, unless I have a reason to be pissed off at you, get out of the way. And I really love that, because there's people that think they're the good guys, and then there's people who like they genuinely know they're the bad guys, but both of them blend together because it's just like, we're either enemies, or you're out of my way, or you're my friend and you're gonna help me. But I just really like that, because he's almost like he's almost like giving into the bad guy versus evil. So he's not like good, he's not the hero that like a lot of stories would portray fighting ultimate evil. He's just kind of a guy. He's just a dude that goes through so much hardship. It genuinely reminds me a lot of one of my all-time favorite novel series and video game series, The Witcher, where people don't need a hero, they need a professional. They need someone who gets the job done. And much like Geralt, he doesn't do all the time what's right, he just does what needs to be done. And I fucking love that. It genuinely just skyrockets Guts as like an actual relatable character of like, he's not a goody two-shoes, but he's not a total asshole the entire time. He's kind of just both at the same time sometimes. It's hard to portray. It's more realistic as how someone who's put in this totally screwed up position would act. And much like Geralt, which I definitely want to make a video when I do finish the last couple. I'm like a little over halfway of the novels for the Witcher series. I do want to talk about those at some point because I love that series. If you haven't, there's one season as of the time of this video on Netflix for the show. There's 3 games, but just play 2 and 3. And then there's 8 novels, which I'm pretty sure are concluded. So go check those out. I'm going to sell you on them at some point, but it's just like, I love that portrayal of a character. Also, if it's not, I'm super surprised, but I'm pretty sure Berserk had a huge influence on like the design and how like the layout of stuff like Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls turned out, because while reading this, that's what I thought of a lot. It was like, this makes me want to play those games, but I don't want to suffer that bad. I want to suffer because there's some fucked up kind of enjoyment from that. I don't know why. My brain is just like, you want to feel like disgusting right now? All right, let's read Berserk or let's play Dark Souls. I don't understand. I'm sure I'll find something else to talk about that'll be in that ballpark. But in the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, this was just a rant. I didn't even think I was gonna really talk about Berserk when I started it, but then as I got like halfway through, I'm like, all right, I want to talk about this. I really enjoyed this series. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's just rated. I think it earns what it brings in. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, share it around with anybody, comment what you think of Berserk, comment anything you think is similar so I can check it out. I'm definitely interested to see anything that is kind of in this ballpark, because my god, I need more just absolutely fucked up but super metal series like this. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you've watched this far, come on, I'll wait. We'll just hang out right now. Please, it's the red button. Just do it. I make more videos like these. Hopefully this didn't just feel like a ramble. This is absolutely passion fueled. Oh my god. Other than that, hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.